These dollar bills represent our armed forces. These are your tax dollars. Don't you want to get the most bang for your buck? I think you do, which is why we will address the value of the National Guard. National Guard service members give you the same bang for your buck as the active component, but are only 1/3 of the cost. I am Army Captain Will Martin, Deputy Director for Support at the National Guard Bureau, Legislative Liaison Directorate, and a consultant at the Center for New American Security. Personally, I'm always on the hunt for a bargain. Coupon clipping, year-end clearance sales, and Cyber Monday are my thing. I do this because I hate seeing my hard-earned money go to waste. Do you like knowing that your tax dollars are being stretched as far as they go? The vast majority of you would agree, yes? In light of the recent sequestration and the drawdown in Afghanistan, many leaders are seeking a leaner and more efficient military force. In the next several minutes, you'll see how increasing the National Guard's footprint while decreasing the active components is the answer for a leaner and more efficient military force. National Guardsmen are simply more cost-effective than their active duty counterparts. They can defend your neighborhoods, homes, and schools, and then defend our country overseas. The Guard is enriched with citizen service members who bring valuable civilian skills to the table at a fraction of the cost. First, I'm going to discuss doing more with less philosophy. Second, I will convince you that the Guard has special characteristics that the active component can never replicate. And third, and most importantly, I will explain the numbers and prove to you exactly how the National Guard is more cost-effective than the active component. Since you, the American tax dollar, pays for the Guard, you should know that the Guard units typically have multiple missions. So in essence, you are getting a 2-for-1 deal. This is discussed in the 2013 National Guard Bureau Posture Statement. The Guard has a rich history of doing more with less, accomplishing daunting missions during emergencies at home and in every conflict this nation has ever fought. Guard units train to standard, not to time. They constantly prepare, train, refine, and deploy troops so they can serve as a quick and effective force when you need them in your state or to defend your interest overseas. Despite spending significantly less than the active duty on equipment and resources, the Guard is always prepared to accomplish whatever mission is placed in front of them. They are battle-tested combat warriors that are accustomed to accomplishing the mission, whatever that may be, with less manpower, equipment, and time. Experience translates into readiness, and the experience of the Guard is at an all-time high. According to the National Guard Bureau, more than 50% of the nation's Guard forces are combat veterans, having consistently rotated through operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. Guardsmen stand confident, competent, and equipped to meet the demands of combatant commanders overseas and their governors at home. Active component units and Guard units look identical, are trained to the same standards, and function interchangeably. Your friends and neighbors in the Guard have repeatedly proven themselves when mobilized to full-time duty during humanitarian and domestic response missions. They consistently perform at the professional level that you, the taxpayer, expect and deserve. All National Guard units have a military mission established by the Department of Defense. Most units also have additional missions that take just as much, if not more time, than their primary mission. Constitutionally unique, meaning they are allowed to support law enforcement missions, whereas the active component needs approval from the Secretary of Defense, the National Guard remains capable and ready to rapidly respond. All of these skills are acquired and sustained with less money, less training time, and less equipment. You don't see units like these in the active components, not to imply the active units are not trained for such missions, but just there are aspects of the Guard that make them better suited for your future needs. According to the National Guard Bureau website, Guard units are trained for a litany of homeland response scenarios. Everything from a 9.0 earthquake to biological weapons attack to Everyone's greatest fear, the zombie apocalypse. Well, maybe I added the last one, but hopefully we'll never need to know. They are integrated with their civilian counterparts and function efficiently when the flag goes up to support the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Homeland Defense Department, their respective governors, law enforcement agencies, and most importantly, their neighbors and communities. Guard service members tend to stay in the same position for years. As a general rule, civilian agencies find working with the military difficult due to the constant attrition of the active component. The constant turnover of personnel severs vital working relationships and negatively impacts the mission. The Guard, on the other hand, is stable and can build and maintain relationships for generations. The Guard is always ready, always there for you. In their civilian lives, Guardsmen work in diverse and skilled capacities within their communities, including substantial untapped cyber expertise, well suited to understanding and working in an increasingly complex global environment, according to the National Guard Bureau 2014 posture statement. They are your local mechanics, nurses, police officers, and tech-savvy programmers. Their depth of life experiences, professional networks, and technical expertise pay great dividends when their communities or the nation call on them in a time of need. Speaking of dividends, let's talk money. The numbers tell the story. The 2013 National Guard Bureau posture statement and the Center for New American Security break it down for you. The Army National Guard costs less than 11% of the entire Army budget, but makes up 32% of its personnel and maintains nearly 40% of its operating force. The Air National Guard costs less than 7% of the Air Force budget, but makes up 19% of its personnel and maintains nearly 40% of the Air Force's fighter, tanker, and airlift capacity. That's a lot of bang for your buck. The Guard's cost effectiveness lies in its part-time, full-time force mission mix. Until activated, Guard members incur minimal costs to the Department of Defense. The community-based part-time nature of the Guard means fewer paydays each year, lower medical costs, minimal retirement expenditures, and significantly lower training costs than their active duty counterparts. In addition, according to the National Guard Bureau, it is more cost-effective and faster to mobilize National Guard units to meet a surge in demand for forces than it is to organize new units. Army General Frank Grass said, I quote, having created the world's most capable operational reserve force, we can maintain superior military capabilities at minimum costs throughout the coming austere years. He is the chief of the National Guard Bureau and a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So why not cut back other military force structure while maintaining and even strengthening a robust, multifaceted National Guard force? The fact remains that the military is fiscally constrained and cuts will be made. The National Guard embodies the leaner and more efficient military force that our country leadership desires. It is the more cost-effective than the active component. The Guard's militia roots still ring true today, making it ideal for domestic missions. Guardsmen bring a variety of critical skills from their civilian lives. The Guard is equipped to do more with less, enhanced by experiences and relationships in domestic operations, and is significantly cheaper than the active component. These are your friends, family, and neighbors from your local communities. If you want to prevent further cuts to this critical force, ensure they are there for you when you need help, take action. Write your congressman and tell them that the Guard was the first armed force in our country and should forever remain robust. What makes more sense to you? Personally, I would rather have the option, with both the skills and the heart, that provides the most value and the most talent. That option is the National Guard. That concludes my speech. Thank you for your time.